All right, let's pick back up where we left off. We had worked out our problem and we had got an answer. And we're at Desmos. We plugged in our original problem. And then we're going to come in and we're going to plug in our answer choices. So if you notice, when I plugged in choice A, my graph that was originally red turned blue. So that looks like it matches it perfect. This is choice B. That doesn't match. This is choice C. Purple one doesn't match. And choice D. That doesn't match. So our answer choice, again, from what we worked out and from what we plugged into Desmos, would be answer A. For question number 5, what is the complete factorization? We can come back here and we can take each one of our answer choices and we can multiply this out. So we're going to use our distributive property and we get this. If you notice, we get the same exact thing for both of these. Okay? For this one, we have to use our FOIL method first, which we would get 3x squared plus 2x minus 1. And then we use our distributive property, and we get this. Okay? Notice we don't get x to the 4th and x cubed. We get x cubed and x squared. And so the last one, if I use my distributive property, I get my answer. Let's go back to Desmos, and let's plug in all of our problems and see if we can match our answers this way. Okay, let's go to Desmos and let's plug in our original problem. Here we go. There's our original problem. It's in red. And then we're going to plug in all 4 of our answer choices. So this is choice A. That doesn't match. So we'll take that off. Here's choice B. That doesn't match. Choice C. That doesn't match. Ooh, look. That's great. So that is choice D. So that one does match. So we got the same answer either by multiplying it out and working it out by hand or plugging it into Desmos. Here we want to know which of these is equivalent to I to the 75th. You don't have anything on a formula sheet for Algebra 2 that deals with the powers of I. So we have to make sure that we remember that I to the first power is the square root of a negative 1. I squared is negative 1. I cubed is negative I. And I to the 4th is just 1. So we take our exponent up here and we divide it by 4. So we're going to do 75 divided by 4. Okay? And if we don't know what that is, we can go to Desmos and we can plug that in. And we can just do 75 divided by 4. And that gives us 18.75. Okay? So this is 18.75. Well, 75 is the same thing as 3/4. So we have a remainder of 3. So we come back over here and we see I to the 3rd is negative I. So our answer here is going to be B, negative I. Okay? Questions or problems on that one? Just remember your rules for your powers of I. That's the most helpful thing you can remember are these 4 powers. Next question, for which value of b is x squared plus bx minus 60 factorable over the set of integers? So what can I multiply together to get 60 that when I subtract, I get this number here? So I wrote out my factors of 60, listed all of them. Okay? And then I take each one of my equations and I plug in 61 for b, 23, negative 7, and 16. So what can I multiply to get 60 that when I subtract, I get a 61? None of these I can multiply to get 60 and subtract to get 61. So this one's not factorable. What can I multiply to get 60 that when I subtract, I get a 23? I don't see any of these that are different by 23. So that one's not factorable. I'm going to skip C and I'm going to come back down to D for right now. What can I multiply to get 60? And when I subtract, I get a negative 16. Both of them would have to be negative, but they can't be. All right, so this one, so that one's not factorable. So this one's the only one that I have left. What can I multiply to get 60 that when I subtract, I get a negative 7? Well, if I have a negative 12 and a positive 5, that gives me a negative 7. So I can factor it into x minus 12 and x plus 5. So the only possible answer that I can have that would give me this is -7 for my b value. Now for the next problem. For problem number 8, I'm looking at multiplying my rationals. And if no denominator equals 0, then I can multiply it out. Before I actually multiply it out, I'm going to factor both the numerator and the denominator in both of my fractions. Okay? And before I do that, I'm going to multiply this by -1. Because I don't usually like having my x squared value be negative. I usually like seeing that first. So I'm going to multiply by a -1 on top and the bottom. Okay? And so that allows me to switch this around and make this a 4x squared minus 25. Okay, so I just changed my signs. And here I just changed my sign of everything in the denominator. Okay, now I'm going to try to factor it. So 4x squared minus 25, that's the difference of two perfect squares. 2x plus 5, 2x minus 5. I can take out a -3 from all three of these terms in the denominator, and I'm left with 2x squared plus 3x minus 5. If I factor this, I can take a 2 out of everything, and I'm left with 3x squared minus x minus 2. If I look at my denominator here, I can take this, and I can factor it into 2x plus 5, x minus 1. So I've got that one factored. I can factor this into 3x plus 2, x minus 1. So let's look at the denominator here. I can take that out and make it 2x minus 5 and x plus 2. So I've got everything factored out in lowest terms. Okay? So once I have all of that factored out in as lowest terms as it'll go, I'm going to start looking to see if I have anything on the top and the bottoms of my fractions that are the same that will cancel. We'll have a 2x plus 5 on both the top and the bottom. I have a 2x minus 5 on top and on the bottom that reduced to a 1. I have an x minus 1 and an x minus 1 on top and the bottom that will cancel. There's nothing else that's the same on top that's on the bottom. So my answer should be 2 times 3x plus 2 over -3 times x plus 2. So if we see if we have any of those, and we do right here. So we've got that answer right here. That's our answer choice. Now, let's see if we can plug this all into Desmos and see if we can find it that way. Right, so we're going to start by plugging in the original problem into Desmos, and then we'll individually plug in each one of our answer choices. So if we go to Desmos, I've plugged in my original problem. That's in blue. Choice A, that doesn't look like it. Choice B, that doesn't look like it. Choice C. Ooh, let's see, look at that. If I take my original problem off, there we go. It's right on top of it. Okay, so it looks like answer choice C is our answer. And let's try that one. Nope, that one doesn't work. So it's answer choice C. So we found it by working it out by hand or by plugging it into Desmos. You can still do it either way, and you'll still get the same answer. Okay? All right, for the next problem, assuming that the denominators do not equal 0, which expression is equivalent? So we're going to start off by coming up with our least common denominator. So our least common denominator here is going to be both of these denominators, x plus 1 and x minus 4. So when we look at our original problem, what does this first fraction, what is missing here that our common denominator has? Well, the x minus 4 is missing. So I need to multiply the top and the bottom by x minus 4. So that we have that whole least common denominator in our denominator, okay? And so then when we look at our second fraction, I have x minus 4 in my denominator, so what's missing this time from our common denominator? Well, the quantity x plus 1 is missing. So we multiply top and the bottom by x plus 1. So here we use our distributive property and we get 12x minus 48 plus x plus 1. So we use our distributive property here. And it's all over our common denominator of x plus 1, x minus 4. So if we combine some like terms here, I have 12 plus 1, that's going to give me 13x. And a negative 48 plus 1 is a negative 47. All over our common denominator of x plus 1 and x minus 4. So if we find that, that's answer choice A. Again, let's go take a minute and let's plug this into Desmos and then plug in each of our answer choices and see which ones match. Okay, here I've plugged in my original problem and I've got 3 lines that I basically see on my graph. If I plug in number 1 in choice A, oh, look, my green turned to blue. All right, so that looks like that's a match. Let's take that one off. Let's look at choice B. Nope, that doesn't match. Choice C, nope, that's not a match. And then finally, choice D, that's not a match. So it does match with choice A. So we got our answer by either working it out by hand or by plugging it into Desmos. Either one gives us the correct answer. For problem number 10, we look at this one, we want to know what's equivalent. So we're going to work this one out. Again, we're going to separate it by parts. My index here is a 2, so I can find the square root of 36, so that's good. I'm going to leave that like it is. My x, I can't do x to the 9th, so I'm going to do x to the 8th, and I'm going to have an x left over here. 25, I can't do that, so I'm going to do 24, and I'm going to do a y over here. All right? So when I take the square root of 36 is 6. X to the 8 divided by 2, y to the 24th. Sorry, I think I wrote a 25 here. That should be a 24. It has to be an even number. So 24 divided by 2 times the square root of xy. When I simplify 8 divided by 2, that gives me x to the 4th. 24 divided by 2 gives me 12. And I have the square root of xy. For this one, it didn't want it written like that, so it just wanted it written with your fractional exponents. So the square root of 36 is 6, and they left the exponents in fractional form, so they didn't even simplify them. So we have x to the 9 halves and y to the 25 halves. So that would be choice B.